of your favorite recipes.
Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food.
Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Simply Food by TY, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys my version of chicken tikka masala. Now, I came across this recipe a while ago, and I've been kind of making some little tweaks to it, but I think it's just right now. But first, let me talk about some of the seasonings that are pretty important. You're going to need some coriander powder. This Laxmi brand I got at Wegmans. I'm also certain that you can probably find it on Amazon. The garam masala is key to Indian cuisine, specifically for tikka masala, as well as the red chili powder, okay? Now, of course, there's other things going into it, but I wanted to talk about those specifically. Now, for my recipe, I'm going to be using bone-in chicken thighs. You can use boneless, skinless chicken thighs, or you can use chicken breast. That's up to you. I personally would stick to chicken thighs just so that it can stay nice and juicy. I've just added in 1 cup of full-fat yogurt. It was whole milk, of course, plain yogurt. And to that, you're going to add in a teaspoon of garlic, as well as a teaspoon of ginger. Of course, you can do it fresh if you would like, but I just find that this is easier. And I use the organic kind, so it's a little bit better. And then we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of the garam masala. Now, and a good hefty pinch of salt. And then we're also gonna put in, now depending upon how big your lemon is, only use half, but because mine was small, I went ahead and used both halves. So I put a whole small lemon in. Now go ahead and get yourself some gloves because that garam masala can kind of stain your skin. And you want to give that a good mix around to really make sure that you're getting all of that flavor under the skin, into the bones, into the meat. And you're going to put that in the fridge, cover that up, and you want to let that sit for, I would say, about at least 3 hours minimum. No more than 4 or 5 hours is really necessary, to be honest. Now, what I have here is about 2 small onions. So you can use 1 large onion or about a medium-sized onion. Now, it might seem like it's a lot, but I promise you it's not. A lot of it's going to really cook down anyway. So trust me, don't stress yourself out if you're not a big onion fan. It's totally fine. Now, we're going to add in, I would say, about 1/3 to about 1/4 of a cup of oil. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to just brown off the chicken. As you can see, the wok was nice and hot as you want it to be. Of course, you don't have to use a wok. You can use whatever pan you would like. Just make sure that you're not overcrowding it. So for me, I'm only going to put 3 in here at a time. I think I actually had either 6 or 7 chicken thighs, I think, for this recipe. But I'm only going to put in 3 at a time because you really want it to brown. You see that beautiful color there? You can't really get that if the chicken starts to steam. What we're trying to do right now is simply add some color to it. We're not trying to fully cook this chicken at all. The chicken is going to fully cook a little bit later on, so you don't have to stress yourself out about that. But as you can see, it's getting some pretty good coloring on it, and that's what you want. So you're just going to repeat that process for all of the chicken and just go ahead and just sit it to the side. Once again, you're not trying to fully cook it, okay? So now that all of my chicken is done, as you can see, it's got some beautiful coloring on it. It's leaving some good seasoning in the bottom of the skillet, which is great because what you're gonna do, after you get all of your chicken done, then you're going to kind of scrape up some of that beautiful seasoning on the bottom. Of course, if you're using a nonstick pan, don't be using metal pans because that's just going to ruin your stuff. But once we add in the onions, all of that water that's in the onions is going to bring up and lift up all of that residue from the chicken, which is great because all that simply does is create way more flavor. I've added in about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of butter just to help start to caramelize these onions up a bit more. Now what we're going to do is you're going to let these onions kind of fry up a bit. You're not trying to get them golden brown or anything like that, but I mean, you do want to kind of let them cook a little bit past the point of translucent. And as I said, that water is really going to lift up everything on the bottom of the pan, which is great. As you can see, that's starting to fry up beautifully, and that's really to me, that's about where you want it to be. Right now, we're starting to build in all of the flavor, and that is key when it comes to making Indian cuisine that I've learned, especially from people that I've watched cook this stuff. It's all about taking the time to really bring life to all of the ingredients, which is why we are going to now add in about a teaspoon of ginger and garlic as well. Go ahead and give that a little mix around in there. Allow that to be able to cook into the onions for, I would say, roughly about 2 to 3 minutes. Just make sure that you're constantly mixing it around. You don't want that garlic to burn. Of course, again, like I said, if you want, you can use fresh. That's totally fine. But let's talk about the seasonings that's about to go in there. So what we have is a half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a teaspoon of ground coriander, a teaspoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon of red chili powder, okay? So you want to put everything in there except for the red chili powder. We're going to put that in a little bit later down the line. So for right now, you just want to go ahead and put in that turmeric, the coriander, the cumin, and the garam masala, and allow that to cook, okay? Allow the seasonings to come back to life in those onions. So don't rush past this process, okay? Allow that to cook for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to go ahead and add in your 2 cups of your strained tomato sauce, and then go ahead and allow that to cook as well. You don't necessarily have to wait for the tomatoes to become super thick. I personally don't like mine that way. I prefer to, cook the seasonings into the onions and then let that do its job. Add in the tomato sauce, and then that's already served its purpose, okay? So you don't have to cook off the tomato sauce for too long before we move on to the next step, which now, as you can see, I've allowed it to cook for maybe about 10 minutes. And that's really about all that it needs. As you can see, it's thickened up beautifully, and that raw tomato taste is definitely long gone now. So now you can go ahead and add in that red chili powder. Now, the reason why I don't like to let it, I don't put it all in at the beginning, is because I feel sometimes you can run the risk of burning. It'll have a burnt taste to it if that cooks in the tomato sauce for too long, if that makes any sense. So for me, I like to add it more to the tomato paste rather than adding it to when I'm frying it up with the onions. But that's just a personal preference of mine. So now that we've gotten that nice and mixed, then what we're going to do now is we're going to add in 1 cup of heavy cream and go ahead and give that a mix around as well. And now this is pretty much your sauce that you're going to be cooking the rest of your chicken and you've just made chicken tikka masala. I mean, it really is not like a difficult dish to make. It's so super simple to make, and you will be amazed at how amazingly delicious this tastes, and people won't believe that you've made this at home yourself, because it's going to taste like you got it from a restaurant. I promise you that. So now go ahead and just add in all of your beautiful chicken, juices and all. And like I said, that chicken is not fully cooked, so go ahead and just give that chicken a good old mix around. Allow that chicken to cook in there for, I would say, roughly about an additional 15 to 20 minutes. Keep giving it a little mix around to make sure that it's not sticking. And then you guys, you got yourself some chicken tikka masala. It truly is that simple. Top it off with some fresh parsley. And that's really it. Serve it up with some rice. And you guys have made yourself some chicken tikka masala, honey. Look, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you're new to my channel, welcome to Simply Food by TY. If you're one of my returning subscribers, well, y'all babies know I love y'all so much. And as always, y'all babies stay cute and take care. Look at you now. You know that don't make no sense. My God.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.